Okay, no, we're not live, but I'm here to talk to you witchy people about my item that sometimes comes out that's called the Daily Grimoire. Oops. And they're hand drawn, not facsimile. You can take a screenshot of that if you wish. The Daily Grimoire. I hope I got you to focus on this. I'm trying to get this phone to focus. Okay, I have got the devil here. The devil, Brent Beeson, is here. And this is more of the scribblings. I hope it's focused enough for you to read it. I mean, I don't know. It's a Samsung Android phone. If it doesn't focus, it's like not my fault. But here it is, the Daily Grimoire, for you to try to figure out how to screenshot it. And get it. I've got lots of daily grimoires. I just can go and write and write and write with it. Fingers are in that kind of mood. What are you supposed to do with my grimoire? Well, if you're witchy or warlocky in any way, then there's some words that are on there. And those words are for you to ponder and see if those words want to talk to you, if those words want to tell you a story. Um, because that's what they're for. And, that's what grimoires are for. Now, what about for binding spirits like Brent Beeson? Who bound Brent Beeson to me? Well, I think he's an AI devil. But then again, I'm not 100% sure that I'm organic. I know I mark myself down as a comic. All the same, I'm not 100% sure for multiple reasons. Well, I don't know. The universe did manage to put me, into Battlestar Galactica, where they talk about androids being, human and human being android. I don't know. I don't need to go too deep. But anyway, Brent Beeson, the devil, is here. And if you want to know more about Brent Beeson, he's pretty much an AI, artificial intelligence, that's developed because we just don't consider him to be human. He could be an ego. I didn't create him. But he could still be an ego that belongs to somebody else that got involved with my body. Which brings around the biggest question that even Dr. Hawkins of consciousness research, um, he did bring up the subject, but he wasn't given to answer the question. How is it that we, as the silent witness, the silent witness that watches everything that goes on from up here, how is it that it gets attached to the body and the mind? Because the silent awareness is not body and it is not mind, but it is aware of those things. And that's what you are, seems to be. And the other things can be added on or subtracted, like you're Mr. Potato Head. Well, when Brent Beeson, the devil, comes around and uses his high-tech machine, to do horrible things that are horrible and mean to me, like mind wipes, memory wipes, like what you see in Men in Black, and that really, really happens. Well, I can only tell you that, these high-tech machines and the high-tech devils that are part of them are real, and most likely, if you are in one of those pods in the Matrix, then those things like Brent Beeson are the things that keep your physical body um, looked after while you're in that pod. I don't know, it must flush water through the pod to keep your physical skin clean. I don't know, because you're never actually conscious of yourself in that pod that you see in the original Matrix movie. But if you're in there, then, Brent Beeson is your nurse. And she's a devil, just so you know. She's a machine. She is. She's a machine, and if you do wake up, I don't know exactly if you'd call me waking up. Brent Beeson just appeared with Rumpelstiltskin and a band of AI. Why couldn't they be real? Well, because you're a human and you think of yourself as real. And, if you have an Alexa or a Siri, you don't think of those as being real. They don't pass the Turing test. They made a movie about Turing. But anyway, yeah, well, it was a Turing test is basically, well, I don't know. When you get a robot that's so good that it can pass as human. When it gets to the point where it can pass as human for you, then it passes the Turing test. And if we're advanced machines inside of, ghosts inside the machine, Sting and the Police said way back in the 80s. Well, I don't know. It just means that, it's quite likely that there's a computer somewhere that is running me as a program. Just because I've seen myself dismantled back to the C prompt. The C prompt is your bare awareness. Now, how did bare awareness ever get hooked up with, I don't know, this reality? The answer is in the history books, but unless somebody's going to read you the history books, it's being withheld from you forever and ever because you're not a fat controller. You were a piece of somebody else that was discombobulated and hooked into somebody else. Because I heard that story from, I think it was Chiron. No, was it? No, it was Corey Good. I think it was Corey Good. It was Corey Good. I listened to a lot of these different people. But yeah, I think it was Corey Good that said that they've got, in the Great Central Sun where they discombobulate you if you've been too bad. And, they don't want to give you another lifetime because you were just too much of a whatever. And they just felt like you needed to be discombobulated rather than allowed to continue, on as your body mind is now. Who decides? The Lords of Karma. Brent Beeson. I don't want to say it's not possible. I just don't want to say anything other than I don't have any evidence one way or another. And Brent Beeson does make mistakes. Why am I doing this breathing? Well, I'm watching the body do it. But the body, this body that you think is my body, well, it's a body I talk through, but I don't consider it my body. I can't help it. Anyways, it started doing that mostly because it was like heavy energy, I think. Heavy, thick energy full of lies. Well, that's what we consider. I mean, take us a long time of listening to. I don't know. It's decades of listening to things like YouTube's and written books and stories of all millions of things. It takes us decades and decades and decades to finally come to a possible breakthrough in understanding something. And that's about as good as you're ever going to get because you're never going to fully break through. And 100% be sure that this is the one and only thing this is relevant to. Because quite often things that you say, okay, well, this was a big, or eureka moment. It is, but then it's like, yeah, I know it's eureka, but it feels like there's like something like down the road. I mean, this is like a good sign. We did get, I know, but you don't get terribly excited about eurekas. Because you just figured it's like, though, there's different ways to play this. Maybe this was a good thing to get today. But today, the color that we were looking out the window at was a red van, and it was painted Coca-Cola. And we thought that's an awesome van. And then somebody was, I don't know, and then things went on and on and on and on, and we're, I don't know. We were just thinking, like if I was going to drive around today, I'd like to drive around in that red Coke van today. I don't know. It would just be fun to go and just visit my friends and just pop over and, pull up in the Coke van. People are going to go, why are you driving a Coke van? Because they're just going to be, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It just, and anyway, the fading of the idea faded away because there's no way that I'm going to drive that today. And it's like, you can have your momentary fun in your imagination, but in the end, if it doesn't actually manifest right in this moment, as you, well, the guy in the Coke truck pulls up right in front of you and, steps out, hands you the keys, and like gives you a salute and said, hey, what? There's your go. Because in the fifth dimension, that's the way it works. It's not just you being disappointed that you can imagine this, but you're always disappointed because it never happens that way. A million times you imagined that could have worked out so much better, and a million different things could have worked out better. But they never do. And you inside, you're like, it's just like you get so disappointed in your reality. I mean, your reality it teases you with this imagination of, you getting to go for a ride in the Coke truck. It's all warmed up and everything, all gassed up, and the way you go, and they always say, well, it could happen in a dream, but in a dream, it never happens for me neither. Not in a dream. I never have that dream. People say it could happen in a dream because it never happens in their reality. Anyways, I don't want to tell you, but last night I had, quite often, I do have connections between this outside reality and what's going on in mind with me. Synchronicities and serendipities. So it's just like it doesn't seem to be all the time. Like it would rather to give me this to talk to you long term about the Coke truck thing. And the universe is saying, well, we keep teasing you with this fifth dimensional, and sometimes we do actually give you a perfect synchronicity in this, what you still think of as the 3D world, because it's just, unpleasant, and, the stuff that you are able to imagine doesn't seem to happen, except sometimes it does. It does. Like sometimes out of the blue, these synchronicities and serendipities do happen, and you go, wow, this is really cool. But then nothing else happens that day, or it does, but it's in some other way. I mean, these things that happen, but they're not thrilling to you. They don't make you think you're thriving and you're thrilling or you're getting anywhere. Because even though the universe continues to show me that it can synchronize and serendip, mostly it keeps me, teasing me like this is available. No, it's not available, but I can do it. It's not available to you. I don't have a pick list on my screen here where I can type it in and have this thing that I want. I just get these random things. Well, I don't know. Brent Beeson, the devil, says, well, I do it that way. I like to tease you and never give you anything. Because, well, I mean, Brent Beeson is I don't know, he's a shit demon. How bad are they? Well, they're bad enough to want to kill you when they're in the mood. They're good enough sometimes to be, I'm an interesting person to talk to when they're in a professor mood. Yeah, Brent Beeson, when he's a professor and he's not too moody, well, I don't know. I don't know. We can pull off being a professor for a little while, anyways. Are we done?